Hello everyone, welcome once again to my channel. It's your boy Luis Portelles, and for today's video we're gonna be talking about Miss International 2023, which is just about to start in less than 2 weeks in Tokyo, and of course the coronation night in less than a month. Now, for today's video I have prepared my top 15 early favorite candidates before the beginning of the competition. I know that people like to say that Miss International is a boring competition, but trust me, it is not, and I will manage to make it fun for you guys. On top of that, I actually have prepared quite a juicy video because I noticed a little trend on social media when I was doing my research for this. So if you want to hear my honest opinion about some of these contestants, fan favorites, stay tuned and watch until the end if you want to find out a little surprise that I have prepared for all of you guys. So I won't keep you waiting much longer. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you leave a like, subscribe, and be part of the conversation in the comment section down below. I will see you with my top 15 early favorites right after the intro.
Be strong.
Alright everyone, so let's get started right away. At number 15 on the list, we have Ecuador. Her name is Georgette Khalil. She is a clinical psychology student and of course, as you can imagine, also a mental health advocate. She has managed to create an app which offers resources to people who might need it, to manage their negative feelings and emotions as well. On top of that, she also started a foundation to help families affected by heavy rain in the country. And honestly, based on my assessment and the opinions that I've seen about her on social media, she seems to be one of the favorites for this year's competition. So I'm really wondering how she's going to do. Ecuador just did great at Supernationals, so I wonder if she will be able to maintain that same level of performance at Miss International. At number 14, we have Spain. Her name is Claudia Gonzalez and she is 26 years old and she's a model. She has mentioned that she is a dreamer and that she likes to pursue the things that make her feel passionate in life. She likes to describe herself as a stubborn person, persevering and social. Now, this is not her first competition, so she is going to Miss International with quite some experience when it comes to the national rounds of pageantry in the country, and she did express that it has been a huge honor and a big responsibility for her to represent her country internationally. Now, moving on to number 13, we have Canada, my home country, with Melanie Renaud. Melanie is 26 years old. She is a marketing strategist, model, mentor, and philanthropist. This girl does absolutely everything. She recently competed at Miss Universe Canada, and after that competition, she joined Miss International Canada, where she managed to win the national title. So I really love the fact that she's going to Miss International really fresh in terms of performance and pageantry. She graduated from the University of Windsor with honors in digital journalism as well as communications. So even there we have similar backgrounds. Melanie is a global ambassador and spokesperson for the Starkey Hearing Foundation. She worked alongside Delta Zeta National to raise $5 million in 5 years for the foundation. And she has also traveled to different countries to promote her advocacies and her social work. So I think that this year Canada is going so strong at Miss International. Just last year we managed to place at top 8, so I really hope and cross my fingers that Melanie is gonna do that and even more, why not? At number 12 on the list, we have Dominican Republic. Her name is Jamiles Hernandez, and according to her own description on Instagram, she is an actress, an education advocate, and a dreamer. Last year, if you remember the candidate for Dominican Republic, she was one of the front runners at Miss International. A lot of people were actually rooting for her to win, and I think that she really put up a great competition. The girl this year, Jamiles, I found her so beautiful, and with the same level of training, preparation, and everything that last year's contestants received, I think that she could honestly be a threat for the crown. She could easily get it. One thing that I'm going to say, when I look through her social media, I do see her working on her advocacy, visiting schools. As she mentioned herself, she's an advocate for education, working with the kids. So I'm seeing all of those things. However, I didn't find a lot of coverage about the things that she was doing in terms of social media. So maybe one of the suggestions that I would have for organizations, and I'm not just talking about Dominican Republic, I'm talking about organizations in general. If you struggle to get coverage from traditional media in your country, because pageantry is not relevant everywhere, I will maybe just have a website for the organization, promote yourself, what the girls are doing, their platforms, and all of the things that the fans should know. Actually, she seems to be quite popular among fans as well, so I'm sure that with the right preparation and with the right attitude once she arrives in Japan, she could be, as I said earlier, a threat for the crown. Moving on to number 11 on the list, we have Thailand. Her name is Supaporn Ritipruek. She is 25 years of age and currently pursuing her master's in learning management. She recently competed at Miss International Thailand against 12 other contestants and she did an incredible job. I think that she's one of the most recent queens to be crowned, to join the rosters of queens of this year's Miss International. But you know what? I'm not even worried about her because she actually has some experience in pageantry. Some of you might remember her when she ended as a first runner-up in Miss Universe Thailand in 2017. So this is a comeback queen, and of course with the support of a country such as Thailand, which loves pageantry so much and invests so much into their queens, I'm sure that she will be a standout. Now moving on to number 10, we have Chile. Her name is Valerie Johnson. Valerie is currently 22 years old and she is a student of industrial civil engineering. She is also half English, half Chilean, and she was born in Germany, so she has quite a diverse background, and as you can tell by her studies, she is also a girl with brains other than the looks, the obvious looks of course. Her project is called Embracing Smiles, which aims to help people with disabilities and lacks of resources. On her advocacy video, which has already been posted on the Miss International YouTube channel, she mentions that she has been working on this project for 6 years and she also funds it completely independently. Similar to some of the girls that I've been telling you earlier, she also is quite hyped at the moment by the fandom, so I'm honestly curious to see how she's going to perform in Japan once the concentration starts, because we know this is when things might change, but so far Chile is super promising. At number 9 on the list, let's talk about Indonesia. Her name is Farhana Narisvari. Farhana is already going to Miss International, making history because this is the first time that the first winner, the main winner of Putri Indonesia is not going to Miss Universe. This time around, she is going to Miss International. I mean, if you've been following the news about Miss Universe, then you know everything that went down with Putri Indonesia. Farhana is actually a doctor, so we're sending someone that is super qualified, not just beautiful. And honestly, when I watched her performance at Putri Indonesia, I was actually quite pleased with her performance on stage. Okay, so we already know that she has the brains, she has of course the platform, the advocacy through her profession as well, and now I'm really excited to see her as well perform on the stage of Miss International. One thing that I will mention is that Indonesia is also one of those countries that really invests a lot and really prepares their queens for international stage. So imagine the level of preparation that back in the day she would have for pageants such as Miss Universe, now she will have to Miss International. So I wonder how that's going to translate in Japan, if people are going to appreciate it, and I just want to see her elevate pageantry overall for the Miss International pageant. Now let's talk about my number 8 on the list, which goes to Czech Republic, Dominika Nemekova. Dominika is currently 22 years old and she is studying at the Masaryk University in the field of special education. Also really close for her project at Miss International. So since she studies in the field of special education, she wants to use her voice to expand the awareness around people who are deaf and also who have speech disabilities. She wants to devote herself to helping those people and especially children and their families. I'm going to add my 2 cents. Dominika has a very particular look. I don't know if it's necessarily the Miss International prototype, however, definitely stunning, definitely a standout. And I'm going to quote Steven over here when he says that there's not necessarily a prototype for Miss International. They're just looking for a lady who kind of like fits what they're looking for that year and who is really willing to work. That's the most important thing for Miss International. So I think that Dominika, with the right strategy, she could really manage to go very far in the competition, and why not win the entire crown. Moving on to number 7 on the list, we have Vietnam. Her name is Nguyen Phuong Ni, and she is currently 21 years old of age. She was recently appointed as Miss International Vietnam, and she will of course represent her country in Tokyo. Now, she is one of the youngest contestants this year. However, don't be fooled because she is not new to pageantry. She already competed at Miss World Vietnam in 2022, where she ended as a 2nd runner-up. So I'm sure that she will be able to use that experience as well as the platform that she already started developing for Miss World Vietnam, and adapt those things for Miss International as well. She's currently majoring in international commercial law at the Hanoi Law University, and she can communicate fluently in English and Spanish. Now let's move on to number 6 on my list, and this spot goes to Cuba, Sheila Ravelo. I'm so happy about this. If you know me, You know that I love this girl so much. She represented Cuba at Miss Earth last year, and I had the opportunity not only to meet her there, but I also got to interview her a few times. And I can proudly say that I was one of those people who influenced her to really push and pursue the crown for international this year. Sheila was born in San Antonio de los Baños in Cuba, of course. Then she immigrated to the United States, where she currently lives. She's also a first-generation college student, and she attended the University of Florida and graduated with honors. One of the things that I really love about Sheila is how committed she is to her advocacy. Even after her Miss Earth stint, we really got along and we stayed in touch, and she was always constantly working on her advocacy and the things that she wanted to promote through her platforms. Because of that, she was recently named as the Cuban National Ambassador for the UN's ECOP program. She also works hand in hand with the Earth Day Network, where she works as a global cleanup ambassador as well. And all I can say is you guys are not ready for this girl. She is working so hard. I am witnessing everything firsthand, and I cannot wait to see her perform. Honestly, like, I'm over the moon. That's all I gotta say. Now let's move on to number 5 on the list, which goes to Peru. Her name is Camila Diaz. So Camila is a commercial model and an entrepreneur. She uses her social media network and platforms to sell products as well. She is quite popular on TikTok, having a following of over 323,000 followers. It says that she loves to sing, dance, play guitar. She speaks English very fluently, and she loves to practice yoga as well. She does have some experience with national and local pageants, as she competed in Miss Peru La Pre. She also competed at Teen Universe Peru in 2019, and she managed to win the crown of Miss Hopeland World 2021. Now, one thing about Peru this year is that she's gonna have to work extra hard, because she is trying to fill the shoes of Tati last year, which was incredible for everyone. Last year, Peru was pretty much the winner of the entire competition, but I think that Camila will have to really push to excel in the same way, and I think that she's doing great. People love her. I've seen a lot of people rooting for her, so I think that she's on the right path. How do you feel about her? Let me know in the comment section. Now, moving on to number 4, we have Cote d'Ivoire. Her name is Nasita Diako. Nasita is 25 years old, and she is a medical student living currently in the USA. She will have the opportunity to represent Cote d'Ivoire at Miss International in 2023, and she is not a stranger to pageants, as she competed at Miss Cote d'Ivoire 2023, where she ended as a first runner-up. I actually took the time to review her performance. It was really incredible. I'm going to say she is so gorgeous. I love her presence on social media, the photos. I think that this girl could go really far at Miss International with the right strategy. And because of that, I'm gonna give you a piece of feedback, a piece of advice. I looked extensively and I did not manage to find anything about her platform, about what she stands for, what she's promoting during this, journey at Miss International. So I think that this is the weak spot of Nasita. If you are listening, Nasita, or if anyone from the team is listening, put out something about your advocacy like yesterday, like as soon as possible. We need this information right now, because you're truly a front runner, and we don't want your chances of shining on that stage to be dimmed because of the lack of information available, right? So let's take care of that as soon as possible, because you are at number 4 on my list at the moment. But if this is not addressed, that position could change real quick. All right, now moving on to number 3 on the list, we have Venezuela. Her name is Andrea Rubio. Of course, she is 23 years old. She is a model, and she holds a bachelor in social communications. I mean, I actually have a lot in common with some of these girls with the communication studies. She is a professional, as I said, model and digital content creator. Andrea considers perseverance as her strength and believes discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. So very inspirational, very Miss Venezuela. Now, one thing that I want to mention is the entire advocacy thing, because when it's explained just like that, it almost comes across as if she wants to help people to become influencers. So maybe be more specific about what type of things you want to help them, better understand about the industry, in what ways you can guide them and provide value to make their journey easier. That's my only feedback, but of course, super excited to see what she's going to do and deliver during this entire journey. Now, moving on to number 2 on the list, it goes to Philippines, Nicole Borromeo. I had the pleasure to meet Nicole several times, and honestly, not only she is a sweetheart, but she is drop dead gorgeous. Nicole is currently working as a model, and she's also pursuing her bachelor's degree in interior design at the School of Architecture, Fine Arts and Design of the University of San Carlos. That's a mouthful, but she's doing all that. Of course, she's definitely not an amateur when it comes to pageantry. She has competed in national competitions such as Reina Ang Aliwan 2019, Sinulog Festival Queen 2019. She is very known and established in Cebu, where she is original from. And of course, we all remember her unforgettable performance at Binibini Pilipinas last year, where she managed to obtain the international crown, which by the way is the highest crown that you can get at Binibini. She has revealed that her advocacy is to collaborate with Habitat for Humanity on housing for all. So she wants to help people get a roof over their heads and make sure that they have, the basics that they need in order to live their lives with dignity, and of course to work on their mental fortitude as well. I've actually seen everyone placing Nicole pretty high on their top picks. For me, I honestly have a lot of faith in this girl. I know that she's going to kill it. I know that she's working so hard with her preparation. I mean, I had literally the opportunity to see it firsthand. So my hopes are really high for Nicole. I'm hoping for at least a first runner-up or even a win. So girl, if you're watching this, we're rooting for you over here, okay? Last but not least, the number one spot on my list goes to Miss Colombia. Her name is Sofia Ocio, and she has made history for being the very first winner of Señorita Colombia who will be competed at Miss International rather than Miss Universe. She is a professional in the industry of fashion marketing and communication, and she graduated from the European Institute of Design in Barcelona, so a girl with international experience indeed, no pun intended. As a second language, she does mention that she is fluent in English. So I think that of course, this is going to help her at Miss International, especially in an international environment. English is the go-to for everyone. So I think this is definitely gonna play in her advantage. Through her reign, Sofia wants to create a foundation dedicated to helping children and women in different aspects of their lives called With Solidarity, and thus be able to provide a solution to many people who are in vulnerable state and looking for a helping hand. I think that Sofia has everything that it takes in order to do great, amazing at Miss International. This crown is almost hers to lose, so I hope that the entire team is working overnight with her. I think that she is really planning her strategy. I hope that she is learning about culture in Japan, and I think that she is going into this competition almost being universally praised as the favorite of the competition. So I'm curious to see how she will, take all of that pressure and adapt, and also how she will handle it, and most importantly, how she will perform during the competition as well. So there you go, everyone. Those were my early favorites for Miss International 2023. If you have been watching up until this point, I promised you that I had some news for you guys, and it's just a little spoiler, just for those who watch until the end. I will have the pleasure this year to cover Miss International live from Tokyo, so I will be collaborating with the organization, so stay tuned for that. Lots of coverage and of course, lots of exclusive content about and with the girls. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'm sending you all my love and all my kisses. Ciao.